Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to add a button to your Microsoft Access form to reopen the previous record. I know the title says Open Last Customer. I went through a couple of different titles, but the last customer you were on. This is helpful if you need to switch between two records, for example. And it could be customers, it could be products, it could be orders, it could be whatever you want. You can put this button on any form and switch between two records. I have to do this a lot myself because on my website, I get a lot of people that sign up with two different email addresses, right? Same person, or they'll, mistype one of them and set up two accounts by accident. And so what I'll have to do is I'll have to open up, let's say this guy, William Riker, right? I put that over there. And then I open up Jordy LaForge, right? Oh, now I want to switch back and forth between them because I got to maybe copy some information, right? That's what this go to last button does. Go to William and then back to Jordy and then back to William and then back to Jordy. You see, you just click this and it'll go to the last person you open. So if I'm on Jordy and I open up Tom, now I can click and go back to Jordy. It'll just go back to the previous, whoever the previous record was. All right. I find this helpful for myself and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not that hard. But this is going to be a developer level video. What does that mean? Well, that means I got a bunch of prerequisites for you to watch first. So if you've never done any VBA programming before and you want to learn, go watch this video. It teaches you everything you need to know in about 20 minutes. You'll need to know how to use an if-then statement. We're going to use Adam's favorite temp vars, so make sure you know how those work. You should know what null values are and how to check for them with isNull. We're going to open a form to a specific record. We're going to use the onCurrent event when we move from record to record. We're going to modify the form's caption property. And you should know how string concatenation works. If you don't know any of these things, go watch all these videos first. These are all free. They're on my YouTube channel. They're on my website. Go watch them and come on back. So none of this is really very hard. In fact, we don't need that much code. I think the whole thing is less than 20 lines of code total. But ideally, what we're going to do is we're going to open a form. Then we're going to store in a memory variable. I'm going to use temp vars. Temp vars are better than regular variables because if your database does throw an error, temp vars will retain their value. I talk about this in the temp vars video, and they're easy to use. And then when we move to another record or open a different one from maybe the customer list like I showed before, then we'll just set that one as the last record that was open, and this will now be the current record that's open. And then if you hit the back button, it'll just go to the last one, right? So it's all accomplished with just two variables. All right, so let's go into the design view of the customer form, and let's open up the form's properties, and we'll go to the form load event, the onload event, ... That'll bring up my code builder. Whoops, really huge. We'll just shrink that down, and we don't need the project explorer, so we can close that pane. All right, so in the form load event, this is where we're going to initialize our temp vars, because normally if you don't initialize them, they'll start out as null. And I don't want to have to keep checking for nulls everywhere. So I'm just going to initialize them right here. I'm going to say if is null, what are we going to call it? Let's call it temp vars. We're going to make two of them. Last customer ID. All right. If that's null, then we're going to set it equal to 0. So I'm just going to copy this. I don't have to keep typing it, right? We're going to set it equal to 0. So if it's null, make it 0. It's that simple. All right. I don't want to have to keep checking everywhere for is null. So I know at this point, when the form loads, that both of these are set to 0. And this one's going to be this customer ID. Okay, so we got this customer ID and last customer ID. We're going to put up here in a comment, right, initialize variables. Okay, okay. You should always initialize your variables. Don't assume what they start at. You make them start at something. In some languages like C or C++, you have to initialize them. Otherwise, that could be any value at all. VBA is pretty good about initializing stuff to null or 0 for like integers and stuff, but you want to make sure you initialize your variables. Okay. Okay. All right. So that handles when the form opens. Now, when the user moves from record to record, this is where we do the checking to see if they opened a different record than they were on previously. We're going to do that in the form current event. So come up here and find form current. Okay. Remember from our current video that the form current event runs when you move from record to record or when the form opens, because that's basically moving to the first record, which is moving to a new record, right? Okay, so at this point, I want to compare the current customer ID, right? Compare this customer ID on the form right there, this guy, Compare that with whatever is in the this customer ID temp var. We're going to call it variable from now on, right? Okay. And if they're different, that means I've moved to a new record. If they're the same, that means they're not. You could open up the same customer like 4 times in a row. You don't want to change the variable at that point, right? So we're going to come in here and say if, and I don't want to have to keep copying that. So I'm just going to copy that to the clipboard. I hate typing that in every time, right? So if my this customer ID, if it's different from customer ID on the form, then they opened a different customer. And then we'll do some stuff and if. Okay, now what do we do? Well, I'm going to take whatever value is in this customer ID and set it as last customer ID so I know where they were last. Okay, so again, let's copy this. Right? We're going to say last customer ID equals this customer ID. Now, if you remember from the temp vars video, whenever you're setting a temp var like that, if it's not a constant value, you have to put .value in here. Okay, it's just one of the quirks of temp vars. It's a small price to pay for being able to use them. Okay, so take the current this customer ID and put it in the last customer ID. So we know the previous one we were on. Okay, now we can set this customer ID equals the customer ID on the form. And again, .value, because we want the actual value of the ID. Okay, so it's basically like we got 2 little boxes, right? We're going to take the customer ID and put it in the previous box. And then we go to another customer ID and take it and then move the other one back a box. And you're just swapping boxes, basically. Okay? And what I like to do as a little, like a developer tool for myself is I like to set the form caption so you can see what's going on with these things, right? So we're going to say me.caption. This is just something you'll do while you're developing so you can watch what the values are, right? We're going to say me.caption. That's the form's caption, right? We're going to say this is, whoops, we need to copy this customer ID, right? And last, let's put a couple spaces in there. Last is the last customer, just so we can see what they are when this thing runs. Okay? All right, save that. Let's debug compile once in a while. Come back out here. I'm going to close this and let's open it up. All right, so when it opens, they were both initialized to 0 when the form opened, right? Okay, that's the form opened event. Then the onCurrent event ran when the first record loaded, and it set this to 1, and last is still 0. Now, if I go to the next record, look what happens. This is now 2, last got set to 1, and so on. See, 3 and 2, 4 and 3. If I close this and open up somebody else like Julian here, number 14, look at that. The temp vars are still active. This is now 14. Last was 4. If I go to 9, this is 9. Last was 14. See, we're just moving that variable back. We're swapping it. We're just moving it from box to box, right? You could do 10 of these if you really wanted to. And in fact, in the extended cut, I'm going to show you how to do a whole bunch of them, as many as you want in a list box. Now all we need is a button over here that will open up customer ID 14 because it was the last one. This is the easy part. We can do this easily, right? Come in here. I'm going to make a button. I'll just copy this one. Copy, paste, right? Go to last. And we're going to give it a name so Alex doesn't yell at us. If you don't know who Alex is, well, spend some time on my website. This will be the go to last button. All right. And then we will right click and go to its build event. And in here, we're simply going to say do command dot open form customer F, comma, 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 chameleon. And I say that because then you remember there's 3 commas there. The where condition, some of the stupid things I do them so that they stick with you and you remember, oh yeah, okay. All right, customer ID equals, that's going to be and temp vars last customer ID. Now we can do some checks in here too. You might want to make sure it's not 0, right? So let me copy this. You could say if temp vars equals 0, that means there isn't one, right? Actually, we're going to say not 0, right, then do that. Otherwise, just don't do anything, because there isn't a last customer to go back to, right? All right, debug compile. Now our button should be functional. And if I open up Jim Kirk, you can see the last one was 9, so go to last one. Boop, Barkley. And then I can go back to Kirk. See? That's just swapping them back and forth. Open up Miles O'Brien. Go to last. See? Go to number 10. Go to the last one. And that's it. That's all you really got to do. Oh, wait, hold on. Someone's beaming in. Hold on. That's more Ferengi traders. All right. One more thing I'm going to show you how to do is maybe let's hide this button if there isn't a last one to go back to, right? Because when you first open up this, well, when you first open the database, right, these will both be initialized. So what we can do is we can say in our code in here, we can say right here, right, show or hide the button. So if the last customer ID is still 0, then what's the name of our button? Go to last button dot visible equals false. Otherwise, go to last button dot visible equals true. Right? That'll only happen once when you first open the database and you first open that form the first time. But it's nice to not have the button if there's nothing to do, right? And in which case, then you probably won't even need this, but that's okay. Let's debug compile. I'm going to close it. Oop, I hit the wrong button there. Oh, by the way, remember my previous video, it's good to close all these things down. They'll keep your database running faster. So I'm going to hit Control F4 and hold it down. Close all those windows. We're going to close this. We're going to shut the database down. And we're going to open it back up again. Now, the first time I run it, the button isn't there. Why? Because last is 0. There isn't one. All right, but if I close this now and go to somebody else, well, I opened myself up again by accident. If I open up somebody else, now you can see the buttons there. And I got values. You can hide this if you want to. Pretty cool, right? I use this constantly in my database because I get this a lot. At least once a week, I get someone who's like, I accidentally set up 2 records. 2 different accounts with a different email address. Can you move all my... Okay, yeah. I'm going to eventually code it so I can just, with one button, just move all their stuff over, but it's not annoying enough yet. I tend to code things for myself when it gets to the point where I'm spending so much time on it that it gets annoying. So, in the extended cut, I'm going to show you how to make a list right here with all of the previously open customers in order. Right? So this, Frodo Baggins is the last one I was on. Mr. Data, Miles O'Brien, and so on. I just double-clicked on Geordie LaForge. It brought him up. And then as you're going through these, you can hit requery. It'll refresh the list. Right? Close this. Let's say I open up the customer list, and I open up Tasha Yar, and then I go to Christopher Pike. Right? If I close this stuff down now and requery this list, oh, look who's up top. Tasha Yar and Christopher Pike. And you can easily go to any of the previously open customers by just simply double-clicking on them. See how easy that is? That's pretty cool. We'll cover that in the extended cut. As a reminder, Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So click on that blue join button to join today. And if you like learning with me, come to my website, check out my developer lessons. I got lots of them. I think I'm up to 48 right now. So there's hundreds of hours of lessons on my website. Check it out. There's a link down below. But that, my friends, is going to be your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper. I'll see you next time. A special thank you and shout out to our diamond sponsors. Juan Soto with Access Experts Software Solutions, manufacturing experts specializing in Access and SQL Server. Sammy Shama with Shama Consultancy, a certified Microsoft Access expert who offers personalized one-on-one tutoring. And Amanda Nicole Consulting, specializing in helping businesses move from complex Excel sheets to an Access database. You'll find links to the Diamond sponsors in the description down below the video. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little show more down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the Tech Help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any Tech Help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for Tech Help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.